Let's get this straight. They don't change overnight. Okay. This is about control. This is not about love. The moment you decide to leave is often the moment when the abuse shifts gears. They don't easily give up, they hoover.
Welcome back to the Touch My Health podcast. My name is Matt.
I'm Katie.
Leaving an abusive relationship, whether physical or emotional, doesn't always end the abuse. Often it starts a new phase. It's the manipulation to get you back.
Today, we're exploring the common tactics abusers use to reel people back in or get a reaction after you leave, why they do it, and how to protect yourself mentally and emotionally from that.
First, we need to recognize some of their tactics.
Right.
What are some common things abusers do after you decide to leave?
Well, there are some common manipulative behaviors that abusers will do or display when you finally put your foot down and say, I'm out of here, adios.
Yeah.
The first one that comes to mind is love bombing, sudden affection, gifts, apologies, you know.
The overabundance
Mhm.
of showing, your love right away and doing it in excess to where it's not small. It's they're in
Mhm.
big.
Well, and oftentimes, you were probably love bombed in the beginning of that relationship as well.
Mhm.
So it's bringing you back to that beginning times when probably for the last couple months or years, that's what you've been holding on to in your mind anyway, that's been preventing you from leaving. So now that you've left, you said, I'm done, put my foot down,
Mhm.
the love bombing starts again. And you're often taken back into that beginning time frame, that mentality. Another one is guilt trips. You're ruining everything, or guilt tripping you like, I can't live without you, making statements like that, making you feel guilty for leaving or
Yeah,
moving
that
on.
that guiltiness is just another form of manipulation
Mhm.
in not wanting you to leave, but throwing that guilt on you, like it's your fault that you're
Mhm.
leaving. Not so much that their actions have affected you to where it makes you want to leave, but now you're the reason that they're leaving.
Right. Well, and that plays right into the next one,
Mm.
playing the victim, acting, playing the victim. I'm the victim. You're leaving me. I'm the victim now, or acting depressed, or again, those blanket statements, playing the victim, though, threatening self-harm,
Oh yeah,
making
the
others pity them.
yeah,
But
the greatest one is always I'll kill myself if you leave me. And
yeah, I'll
I'll,
unalive myself if
yeah,
you leave, which is a very desperate and awful thing to say to someone to try to get them to stay.
it's
Um,
a reach and a last ditch effort. So you'll feel sorry for them. And you said making others pity them.
mhm.
It's,
Woe is me, she left me, he left me.
yeah. And again, not taking accountability for
Mhm.
what they've done,
Yep.
but making others feel sorry for them because you left and you're the bad guy.
hmm Another one is future faking, which I've had experience with this one a lot. It's
Mm,
that I'll go to therapy, I promise. Let's start fresh. Like I'll do all the things that you've been asking me to do. I'll do them now.
Sadly,
So that way our future, and it's a fake, it's a front. Because even if it does happen, it's going to happen. It's going to be very short-lived. I mean, that's what I remember. Oh, I'll go to therapy, I'll do this, and it would happen, and then it would be great for a little bit, and then it would go back to,
right back to
yeah,
where it started from.
it's just a front, it's just a facade, it's a fake, it's a faking the future.
Yep. And I too have experience where it was the let's move out of state. Let's
Mhm.
start over fresh.
Yeah, tell us how you got to Texas.
Yeah. That's exactly how it was. It's okay. We've done therapy. Let's move out of state and where we can start over fresh and have a new beginning. And just like you said, I mean, it was good for a little while
Until it
and
wasn't.
until it wasn't. And I mean, that starting over isn't really starting over. You're just brushing it under the rug
Yeah.
and then all of that dust comes right back up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you haven't fixed who you are inside, like if you haven't taken responsibility and accountability and taken the steps to heal and get better, moving to a different place or doing the thing you said you were going to do, it's just a cover. Just a, just a cover. It
Sure is.
doesn't mean anything and it's not going to change anything.
And that starting over fresh, that takes a long time to really dive into what fresh looks like.
Mhm.
It can't be a sudden move or a one therapy session,
Yeah. I went to
one,
therapy once. I'm healed.
yeah, you're healed. One marriage counseling session is not going to fix years or months of
Mm-mm.
problems. It
No.
it doesn't work that way. It has to take time and a lot of effort
Yeah.
and probably a lot of self acknowledgement and what you've done wrong and self accountability. And then also the other person has to be accountable for what they've done. And it has to be not just words, it has to have a lot of action behind it.
Yeah. So another one or another common behavior is triangulation. And this one is a little bit trickier maybe to identify, but
Mhm.
they'll start using friends, um, children, or family to pull you back in. So trying to, you know, befriend or like position themselves with your friends or your children or your family, like please talk to
Yeah.
her or him and,
Yeah.
try to get them to do their dirty work or their bidding almost. And they try to triangulate that and manipulate those other people
Hmm.
to get back to your life,
Reaching out to your mom or dad to say,
or your friends
hey,
or
or your friend, yeah, just throwing throwing a lifeline out there to get you
Mhm.
to talk to them. Talk to, to say
Yeah.
if it's you, if I reached out to your mom and dad and be like, "Hey, could you talk to Katie because
Hmm.
she's not listening to me.
Or,
She's not."
I really miss her or him. I'm really
Yeah.
trying hard or um
Again,
yeah,
it's
and they can use the triangulation as a stepping stone for another behavior like playing the victim or future faking and saying, "Well, I tell her please or him please. I'm gonna go to therapy. I'm gonna do this and do that."
right.
It's just it's a stepping stone to another manipulative behavior that's just going to try to get you back in. Um, and then the opposite to that kind of too that they could do is the smear campaigns. So bad mouthing you to others to get a reaction out of you. And this is really difficult as the person who has left when you hear these campaigns or you hear the bad things being said about you to not give them the reaction. It can be really hard to do that, especially if you're losing friends or family, like they're getting to people that don't really know them very well or don't know the situation, and wanting to not defend yourself and just let it go can be really tough. But I feel like in the end, the people who love you and are important to you and really know you, they'll know the truth and they'll see the truth, and other people will eventually see it too. People
Yeah.
can't hide their true selves for too long.
It'll come out in the wash,
Hmm.
and those that are close to you will know the truth right away, and they'll be able to recognize that. And another form of smear campaigns is called the flying monkeys. It's something that is where they basically reach out to anybody that will listen and badmouth you and try to get people on their side against you because of, whatever the problem is, but they're going to make people pity them. And it was described in another podcast we talked to or we listened to on Med Circle. It was about this flying monkeys, and it's all about getting people on their side to manipulate the situation and again get you
Hmm.
back.
When you say that, it reminds me of high school. Like I think of so juvenile, so high school. Like I'm gonna try and get everybody on my side, and you're not gonna have any friends and be a loser and blah blah blah. Like
Yeah.
it just is so
Never going
juvenile.
anywhere.
Yeah, it's just so juvenile and so immature to me. It makes me think of high school. Like I remember my ex-husband's cousin texted me one time, and this was when we were in the middle of our divorce. And she's like, well, no one ever liked you anyway, and blah, blah, blah,
Oh.
blah, blah, and just saying all these things. And I thought, are you still in high school?
Yeah.
Like,
That's some
first off,
childish.
okay, I know you're full of crap,
Right.
but that's great that you want to keep doing these childlike behaviors.
Yeah.
It didn't affect me, but I could totally see how it would, it would be hard if
Yeah.
I cared more at that point in time.
Mhm.
And at that point in time, I didn't. So I thought it was funny. But yeah, that tactic is just so juvenile to me.
Very childish behavior.
Yeah. And then the last one that I can think of is the silent treatment or rage. So switching from sweetness and then to anger to really destabilize you and go that back and forth type behavior. And it's very reminiscent of like the dopamine hit you would get when they're very aggressive towards you or angry and mean and doing all the bad things. And then they turn it around and they're sweet and they're loving. And you get that nice little dopamine hit and you're like, oh, well, and that's what you hang on to. And that's
Maybe
something
they
that
do
they,
love me.
yeah.
Hmm.
And that's, sorry, I can't like this hair that's like flying on
It
my thing.
reminds me of I love Chinese food, but it reminds me
Nice.
of Chinese food. It's sweet and sour, right? It's
Sour Patch Kids.
yeah, it's like all of that sweetness, and then because you don't play into their game, now all of a sudden they're
Rage.
turning sour and they're just,
Rage.
lashing out at you and throwing rage
Mhm.
and mean words and being nasty, and it's because you didn't respond the
Yeah.
way that they wanted you to.
Absolutely. That's when a lot of the rage comes in, is when you don't give them the reaction that they want, you don't respond the way that they want, and then the
Mhm.
rage comes in. And then they try to backtrack and be sweet again and blame it on, well, I'm just really going through a hard time and I'm really
Yeah.
upset.
Yeah.
This is hard for me too. Well, you put yourself in that situation there, pal.
99% of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's that want to control the situation or to
yes.
control you, where if you don't uh if you aren't being pulled back in to those feelings and sucked back into those feelings, then you're now awful. You're the worst
Mhm.
person on earth.
Well, yeah, like we said in the beginning, this is not about love. This is about control. They want to remain in control. And when they feel that control going away, that is when they panic. They start to do some of these behaviors and get really manipulative because they need that sense of control, whether it's over you, over the narrative of the two of you,
Yeah.
whatever it is, they have to remain in somewhat control or else they feel chaos and emotions come in that they don't know how to handle because they're
100%.
emotionally
Yeah.
immature.
And it brings me to my next question is, why do you think abusers suddenly become sweet or apologetic or even promise to change when they realize that they're losing control of the situation or losing control of the relationship?
E- Exactly, because they can't handle the emotions that come with losing that control,
Mm.
because control to them, I think, in my opinion, is love. That's part of their love, is they are used to controlling someone. They're used to having control over that person.
Yeah.
And it's not in a healthy way. It's not in a way that comes from love. It just comes from control and needing to, and being very selfish in their own ways and thoughts and feelings and actions. And so when they realize they're losing the control, they're going to try any of those manipulative behaviors, or they're going to go from the sweet and the I'm sorry and I'll change, or I'm going to go here, I'm
Mhm.
going to do this. And they know in the back of their mind they're not going to. And they're just saying that just to placate you. Now, I'm not saying people can't change. I'm not saying that every person that says that doesn't mean it and that they won't do the work that needs to be done, but I think you need to recognize patterns too.
Oh,
Have you
100%.
had this conversation many times and they've said these things and nothing's happened? Is this a repeat offender?
Oh gosh. Yeah. When somebody has that recognized pattern of bad behavior or unchanged behavior, that's when you know it's all a facade. It's all for control. And that is something that you have to be able to recognize and not get pulled into that situation. And I know, I wasn't a great husband to my first wife and
Well, your only wife.
my only wife. Yeah.
I'm the only one that can say first and second here.
Truth, truth to my ex-wife. And there were times where we both played this sweet and sour game, this you know, almost saying the right thing to draw each other
Mhm.
back in. And sometimes I said things that I maybe didn't 100% believe. The first time was that I can remember in my experience was when I had cheated on her and I told her, I'm sorry, it'll never happen again. That was a lie. Uh, you know,
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh at
and
that. I didn't mean to laugh.
I at the
I just
time,
know the story, so
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
at the time, I probably believed it in the forefront of my mind, but in the back of my mind, I knew that if things didn't change between the two of us, if things didn't get better, I would reach out elsewhere for that physical attention that I wasn't getting.
Yeah.
So I played this game and I'm guilty of that game too because I'm not a perfect person and I've not always
Mhm.
lived this better lifestyle. And it has taken me a long time to realize my own weaknesses. But when she said it after we had done the let's start fresh, I took that to heart and I thought that was going to be our fresh start. Hey, sorry to cut my story short. Katie was having an allergic reaction to
Yeah.
something. So,
I don't know. My face was feeling like it was I thought my eyes were like shutting. Weird.
but we're back.
We're back. Okay. So where were we? Oh, well, I was going to make a disclaimer about what you were talking about. Um, how we're not experts. We're not. We just have been through things. We have experience in things. And so we talk about that, offer advice, solutions based on things we've learned and research we do. Because I saw, I shouldn't have let it get to me, but it kind of did. Like sometimes on TikTok or YouTube, people will post comments that are just stupid and annoying.
Yeah.
And someone was like, gets YouTube equipment or gets podcast equipment automatically becomes experts. I was like, shut up.
Well,
No, we're not.
I am an expert in my experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an expert in my experience.
Yeah.
But
So heck them.
yeah, heck you. Anyways, now have you ever experienced hoovering? Do you know what that term means? Or
Yeah. Do you want me to explain it?
uh yes, you can.
Okay. So hoovering is, think of the vacuum, right?
Hmm.
A Hoover is a vacuum, and when you're hoovering or when someone is hoovering, it's doing things to suck you back in to get you back to
Hmm.
being with them.
When I first read about this, I literally thought they were misspelling hover. And you were like, no, hoovering. Hoover to suck you back in, kind of like, I'm
The
like, oh,
vacuum,
okay,
yeah.
that makes sense now. But have you experienced that with any of your past relationships, not just your marriage, but any relationship that
Yeah, I have not just my marriage, but when I was going through all of my child uh, abuse and trauma, and that was how my mother tried to be nice once she got arrested and sent to jail for abusing me, is when I went to go uh, see my sister and hang out with her. That was part of her tactic. Was she was like, you did this, it's your fault, but I can try to be better. And
That it's
knowing,
not really a good way to suck you back in, but
no, it really wasn't. And other than like my marriage, I haven't had any of those break up, get back together, break up, get back together. It's just
yeah.
not the game that I'm interested in. If we break up, it's for a reason, and that is why we broke up, and that's the end of it. Never have I had a relationship other than my marriage that was that on again, off again
Mhm.
relationship. And typically with me, when I cut people off,
Yeah.
that's it.
You don't really struggle with this as some other people or that we know do, or like I have. I know I've experienced the hoovering tactics, like that we just mentioned about
Hmm.
a lot of the future faking one where I'll go to therapy, I'll get better, I'll do this.
Yeah.
Or even some of the love bombing where it goes back to, I buy you flowers, do all these sweet things, nice things, and then or just empty promises. Yeah, I'll get better, or I'll do this, I'll do that, sure, and then it's very short-lived. So I definitely
You've
have experience with
fallen
it.
victim
Yeah.
to that
Hmm.
tactic. What did it look like from your side? Like what were your feelings? What were your emotions when that
Well,
was taking place?
because I always wanted to believe that what they said was honest and true and sincere. I wanted them to do those things. And I also was stuck in that fight or flight and, thinking about all the good things and just holding on to that or holding on to, well, I just don't want to be alone. I don't want to go back out there in
Yeah.
the single world, or I don't,
Trying to date it. Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
and not reasons that really, looking back on them, should not have been what kept me there. Or saying to myself, well, this person is at least better than the last one. Well,
Right.
yeah. No. Um, so,
When you were having those discussions, like what were the emotions? I mean, you said that you were hoping that they were true. Is that because you were hoping they would change, or that was what you felt in your heart, or
well, yeah, there was always the hope that they would change or they would do the things that they said they were going to do. Um, because I too have a big fear of abandonment. And so I tend to stay in situations that I know I shouldn't be in, but because I just don't, I fear as soon as I feel like they're leaving or they're doing things to escape the relationship inadvertently or, consciously, subconsciously, whatever, I start to panic.
mm,
But so I would find myself in situations and relationships a lot longer than I needed to be because of that fear of abandonment. Even though I knew deep down I don't need to be here, this is not the right place. But I also always hoped that they would change and do the things that they said they were going to do because it would help ease that fear.
right?
So,
That was what I felt too, going through marriage counseling with my ex-wife, and we talked and went to I can I think go we went to about a dozen marriage counseling uh, meetings, and that was a lot that came out of that is all these things would change, and I would get better, she would get better, and hoping that it would, and really latching on to that hope because we had a daughter together, and
Mm,
my thought at that time was I don't want to break apart our family. I messed up, she messed up. Maybe there's a glimmer of hope that we could make things better. And by having a fresh start, like we
mhm,
talked about earlier, doing that fresh start, maybe that is what we need. And that was the emotion that
mhm.
I felt in that moment is hope.
Yeah,
And
that's a good hope.
and hoping that someone would change, but not really knowing whether they were going to put in the work or not.
Yeah, you can only do so much. Work has to be put on both. Work has to be put in on both parties.
Oh yeah,
One person can't do all the work and the other person doesn't do anything. It won't work at all.
right.
Um, but do you think these tactics also differ between physical and emotional abusers as far as what they do?
No, I think they go hand in hand.
Doesn't matter.
No, I don't think so.
Mhm.
In my experience, physical and emotional are both equal evils. Just because one is physical and one is mental or verbal abuse, I think these tactics and some of these recognized patterns of behavior aren't going to be any different because it's all about that control.
Hmm.
Whether it's verbal or it's physical, it's still a form of abuse. And they want to control you, control the relationship. And typically, when abusers are controlling, they don't want to lose you unless they have somebody on the side.
Yeah, that's true too.
And they're not going to leave you until they have someone set up, on the rebound.
Yeah, or a lot of times too, I think people who are physically and emotionally abusive, they don't even care that they'll have people on the side and still try to stay.
Oh yeah, they'll definitely try to have their cake and
The,
eat it
the
too, for
supply
sure.
for that's what they call it for narcissistic people is they have a supply. They have a certain supply. Some
Yeah,
of them wait.
yeah,
I mean, well, never mind.
yeah. And with emotionally or physical abusers, typically they jump from relationship to relationship without changing.
Right.
They'll look one way to the new person, and then after
Oh yeah,
uh,
they just repeat the cycle. They do
all the
right.
things just to a new person.
Hmm.
It doesn't change just because the face or the name of the person that they're dating, it it doesn't. That's a recognized pattern, and that's something to be very aware of with if somebody from their past reaches out to you uh, and tells you, hey, this person is mentally or physically abusive, that's something that should be a red flag and should perk your ears up a little bit.
Yes, but also no, because the flip side of that is that could be the abuser reaching out to try to gain control and get that relationship sabotaged. So you do have to be careful when you
Oh, that's a
get
good point.
messages or communication from an ex because you don't know their intentions. I would just say if you get that communication from an ex trying to warn you, just pay very close attention to what they've said and then the behaviors and the patterns of the person that you're with. Because it could go both ways. It could be the toxic person just trying to sabotage, or it could come from a place where like, hey, I'm trying to help you. You want to run.
Yeah,
So,
that's a really good point because it could be a
mhm,
form of sabotage.
yeah. Now let's talk about handling it from the survivor's side.
Okay.
You know, what it looks like for you as the survivor on your side. So, what are the most important boundaries to put in place when you are leaving?
The most important is the no contact rule. I feel like the no contact can really be detrimental for a lot of people. And setting those boundaries, if you have children together or if you have assets together where you have to have contact,
Well, you don't even, there's attorneys for that.
true. And there has to be only contact about the children or contact through the attorney general. There
Or
has to be
divorce.
some type of mediator. And if the contact strays away from that and it starts to be that love bombing or the rage or
Anything else?
any of that, that's where you have to shut that down. Say,
Mm.
nope, we're not going to talk about that. You know, business only, children only, stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's an extremely important boundary to put is either no contact or limited contact
Uh-huh.
because you need to distance yourself from that person. You need to, that's the only way you're going to start healing and moving on. So if you can't go completely no contact because of children or certain assets or things that, you know, you have to divvy up, um, keep it, like you said, business. Keep it about, you know, kids or business. Like,
Yeah,
don't talk to me, don't message me about anything else. And, or if you can use the mediator, if you can use an attorney, you know, some people can't, because attorneys can be expensive,
for sure.
but just keep that boundary. And if you can, no contact, stay
Yep.
away.
What if they're a family member? What if
Oh,
the
cut him
abuser is a
off.
cut him off?
Cut him off.
Okay.
I've, I say this and I have no basis for saying it. I'm just saying it as an opinion, but I almost feel like it would be easier maybe to cut the family member off versus like a romantic relationship.
Because of the feelings and the emotion.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
I could see that.
You know, people probably would disagree, and I'm sure, like I said, I have no basis on the family side.
I
That's
do.
yeah, that's you.
I
So,
definitely do. And uh,
and you were a child too, so I feel like that's um, it was probably a little bit harder for you just as a child, want to you want your mom, you want your family, you crave that family connection.
yeah.
So
But
I don't
even
know.
say the abuser is not a parental figure, but they are somebody in your family. If there's family get-togethers, you have to decide whether you're going to go to that family event or not. You have to decide what is best for your peace, for your mental health. You have to decide whether you show up to that event or that person shows up to the event. And kind of goes with that no contact rule. And if you both are in that space together, separation is key. And I think you have to warn other people in your family or at least give them knowledge of the situation if they don't and be like, hey, me and this person don't get along or there's a long history of abuse and just make sure that that person stays away from me.
Yeah, I mean, I think in family scenarios, it's probably already talked about at the family
Oh,
dinners and stuff.
absolutely.
But
Yeah.
um, so how can someone emotionally prepare themselves for the push-pull that comes after leaving?
Emotionally, you have to be ready for the ups and downs because you're going to have days where you're so confident and you are so ready for this and you're just ready to get on
Yeah.
with your life. And then there's going to be days where you don't want to get out of bed and you're going to cry. I did it. And there were days that I struggled emotionally, both with my ex-wife, my mother, and others. But there's been times where I felt like I was ready and I felt like I was emotionally prepared. And then all of that weight just hits you at once. And now all of a sudden you're so unsure of everything. So emotionally preparing yourself, you have to be ready for those ups and downs, and you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with
Yeah.
feeling great one day and not, because that's part of that healing process.
Yes, I think you have to, in order to be prepared for the emotional roller coaster, you have to acknowledge that it's going to happen.
Hmm.
I know I'm going to have these feelings. I know I'm going to have good days. I'm going to have bad days.
Yeah.
I'm going to have days, like you said, where I wake up, I want to conquer the world, go me, new me.
Yeah.
And then there's days where you're going to be like, shit.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't want to. Or you're tempted to just let me see how they're doing. Let me see. Let me look up
No,
their page. Let me do.
no,
No, don't,
no.
don't. And I think a really important step is to write down, like have a journal maybe, and set some, morning intentions or something for yourself. And when you're struggling, go back to that and say, I'm not going to do this. Remember your why. Why am I doing this? Why did I leave? Why did I finally say enough is enough? Go back to that. Think about all the, before when you were in the relationship, all you did was thinking about the tiny little good things that keep you going. You have a laundry list of all the bad things. Start remembering those. Anytime you want to break the no contact or let me just check on their socials or let me do this or that or ask so and so about them. No, don't do it. Don't do it.
No
Look,
drunk dialing.
don't drink. Or if you're going to drink, put your phone somewhere. I don't know,
Let your
but
friend take
yeah,
your phone.
yeah, seriously. But
I,
yeah, so I think that's the best way that you can emotionally prepare for that push pull is you have to acknowledge it and try to set yourself up with good exercises um, to do for when you get in those moments that you feel like you're going to cave and you're
I,
having the emotionally hard days.
I couldn't agree more. And I love that you said be intentional. You have to be intentional with those feelings and with those emotions because it is going to be tough. It's going to be a struggle. And I love that you said write it down because then it is a visual reminder of why you left, why you are leaving, why you left, and it reminds you of the why.
Hmm. Yes, and I think too to play or to add on to that, trying to stay grounded when they try and guilt you or promise you that they're going to change and manipulate you or
Mhm.
others may sound silly, but like write a pros and cons list. And I'm sure that the cons list is long and weigh them out too, because you could have a couple of pros that are really like, oh, I remember one of my childhood best friends, she dated this guy for a very long time. And she used to say, well, when I ask for water, he gets me water. When I ask for food, he gets me food.
That's
And
nice.
those were the pros that she would hang on to versus the cons that were like, a laundry list,
Yeah.
and they were also so much more in weight. Like they could have four things that they do great and one thing that's awful, and the one thing that's awful could be beating your ass every other day.
Yeah.
I'm sure that weighs out all the, oh, he buys me flowers and he gets me water and, So I would say make that list, pros and cons, weigh them out. And when you need to stay grounded, reflect and refer to those. Remind yourself, these are the things, this is the why, this is the why.
Yes. 100%. When you're thinking of your support system, what role can they play during the stage of leaving or even after
Mhm.
you've left? How important are they?
Well, they're very important. They're vital.
Yeah.
The support system um, can play a very pivotal role in the leaving stage and after you've left, because there are also people who you're going to you're going to confide in,
Mhm.
when you're having that struggle, when you're annoyed, when you're frustrated, they're the ones that you're going to reach out to and you're going to. And also when you have those moments of weakness, they're the ones that are going to help give you the strength to push through. So they do play a really important role. And I think it's very important too to you know, pick out or in your mind assign, who is really my main support system? Like, who is it that I need to have to let them know what's going on, all the details, so I know that they're there, they're in my corner when I need them.
And people
And
that
won't judge, won't.
won't judge and won't relay what you're telling them back
Yeah.
to that
Oh
person.
yeah. If they're relaying, they're not supporting. That's
Correct.
for sure.
100%.
But letting them know too, like, hey, you're a part of my support system. Like you're a part of my main group of people. I need your help. Keep me accountable. Help me,
Yes.
let them know too.
Part of being
Um,
intentional is letting them know what role they are playing. Hey,
right.
I need you. I need to talk to you. I need to vent.
Hmm.
Can I call you?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
just to chat. Who cares what it's about? It
Hmm.
doesn't always have to be about the
Hmm.
relationship or leaving. 99% of the time, that's what it's going to be about, or that's where the
Yeah.
conversation is going to lead. Who was your support system through all of it?
Oh, my support system has always been my family, my mom and dad, for sure. They've been my biggest supporters. My sisters, um, and very, very close friends, very close friends.
Yeah.
Probably a handful, but my parents are my number one support system. I always know that they have my back.
Yeah.
So, and even if they didn't maybe agree with me at the time or didn't understand, I know especially my last marriage, they were very confused and I had to do a lot of explaining because they never saw the things that I was telling them about. After the fact, on the outside, it's one of those relationships that looked great, but on the inside, it was just not. Um,
Narcissists are good at that.
yeah. So, but I know I will never forget the day that my dad heard the things coming out of my ex's mouth towards me when he didn't realize my dad was there listening, and he was like,
Oh, God, I cannot
yeah,
imagine the look or the feel of that.
yeah,
Hearing awful words being thrown at your own daughter.
yeah.
I would flip a lid.
Yeah, well, and it wasn't necessarily like awful words like name calling or things like that, but just the tone and the aggression and the
Mhm.
the
Right.
verbal,
Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah. Th- that's similar to you for my support system. Is my support system really my first was my sister. I called her.
you call her all the time.
I still do. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I would call her, and somebody like her that is going to be very blunt and very honest and tell you that, like she told me, sometimes what I was doing wrong. And sometimes that's
That
ad-
is, I don't
the
want someone
best
to
thing to
just
hear. Yeah.
placate me. Don't just
Right.
tell me what I want to hear. If I'm doing something wrong, tell me.
Yeah. Yeah. And somebody that can be so honest with you, and whether that's a family member or a friend, somebody that can listen to the situation but look at it from an outsider's perspective and be like, no, you did this wrong, you did this wrong. And, even though you did that wrong, it's a good thing that you left. But, maybe it's something that you should be aware of. And somebody, again, that's not going to judge you on those things
Hmm.
and then throw it back in your face later on. But
Yeah.
that was my first was my sister, and then my mom and dad as well. My uh, dad and my stepmom, I call her my mom, but I would call them a lot, and they kind of had the same similar perspective of my marriage is they weren't 100% keen to what was going on inside.
Mhm.
And calling them a lot of times was just for me to vent. A lot of times they didn't give a whole lot of feedback, but it allowed me to vent.
Yeah.
And sometimes that was enough.
Yes.
So the support system can be friends, family, but make sure that they are in your corner and are people you can trust.
Yeah. And even if you don't feel like you have that, there are groups you can join if you have the courage to take that step and do that. There's,
Oh yeah.
survivor groups of abuse and things like that. So,
All kinds of groups. I mean, in person or Facebook too. And
hmm
that's a really great point that there's abuse survivor groups everywhere. I've
yeah.
never been in a group and I've never been a part of that because I haven't ever wanted to take the step to talk about my abuse publicly.
This is support.
This is my support group right here. So thanks.
This,
Yep.
all you
Thanks
guys.
to the audience.
Yeah. Well, I think to wrap it up, we have some closing reminders for everyone.
Yeah.
Um, First one, obviously, leaving is often just the first step. That really is. And I think statistically, it says people will endure or they'll try to leave 7 times before they finally decide to leave. Which is it's crazy if you think about it. It's really wild. But leaving is often the first step. So you've taken the first step. Give yourself a pat on the back for that.
Yeah. And the second is their behavior afterward doesn't mean that they've changed. It means that they've lost control of the relationship or of you.
Exactly. Their behavior afterwards is a very good indicator of their train of thought, their mental state of mind, all the flip-flopping and all the things that we talked about in the beginning. Trust me, they have not changed. They have not changed. They're trying to grasp at what little control they have left.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you have the right to boundaries and to your own peace.
Absolutely.
You have to want that peace and set those boundaries.
Yes, absolutely. Set the boundaries, protect your peace. And then silence also doesn't mean like you're weak, um, or that you're not hurt, you're not upset. It's just a reclamation. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Reclamation of
Yeah.
your
It's
power.
re
Reclaiming your power back.
hmm
So in those times when it's hard to stay silent because you want to defend yourself or you want to say that what they're saying or doing, isn't right or it's not true, like you have to remember too that sometimes silence just means you're reclaiming your power back. You don't need to defend yourself. You don't need to try to prove them wrong. You don't let them be because, again, they're just trying to get a reaction out of you. They're just trying to maintain some control. So
sometimes
don't let them win.
sometimes being silent is the best answer
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
whatever the hell they're saying. I mean, you don't have to respond every time to what somebody says.
Yeah, let it go. Be like Elsa. Let it go. Let it go.
Ooh, look at you, American Idol.
You don't know. I could sing
Hmm.
in the shower.
Yes, very good.
Thank you guys for watching and listening to this episode. Please like and subscribe to our channel. Give us a thumbs up or a comment. It's a free way to help support the channel. We'll have all of our socials linked in our bio. That's TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. We'll also have our holistic health and wellness brand, Bravenly, naturopathic doctor formulated products, also listed in our bio. They're really great. Really good for your whole body and mental health. So until the next one,
We'll see you again. Okay,
yeah.
bye.